You can also subscribe to my channel. I knew this would happen. I just dunked everything on the ground. Oh my god, I almost stabbed myself in the leg with the scissors. Whew. That's very, very dangerous. Hi everyone, so for today's video, I'm going to show you how to recreate this look right here. Now this is a look worn by Ariana Grande, and when I saw her makeup look, I really wanted to recreate it. It looks really simple. It is very simple to do, but it's very difficult to get the perfect shape and also the perfect colors. So if you want to know my tips and tricks on how to recreate this look, you can just keep on watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos every single Mondays, so subscribe so that you don't miss any of the makeup Mondays. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and let's get started with the makeup. Alright, so let's get started. As you're noticing, I already did one eye just because I wanted to make sure that I had the right shades and the right shape. So let's get started. I'm going to stop rambling. And in today's video, I'm going to do a lot of detailing, and I'm really going to speak you through this makeup look because at first, when you look at this makeup look, you're like, it's super simple. There's not a lot of colors. There's not a lot of like a intense shape. But when I sat down to do this eye look, I had to start over because I didn't have the shape right, the shades were off. So I really want to explain to you very well how to recreate this eye look. So yes, let's get started. So I'm going to start by, of course, priming my lid. I need to find my spatula. I'm going to use my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and I'm just going to dab that on my lid using my finger. And today I'm going to be using different eyeshadows from different palettes, but you really don't have to use the same eyeshadows that I'm using to create this look. You can really use anything that's close. But overall, her makeup look is very, very neutral. It's not too warm. It's not too cool. Her eyeshadow is very, very neutral. So overall, you should probably use very neutral shades. So to begin, I'm going to set the concealer down. I'm going to be using the Rawbeautykristi X Purcosmetics palette. I'm going to go into the shade called My Whole Heart. I'm using this shade because it's not a stark white color. At first, I wanted to use the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette to recreate this look, but this palette is a little bit too warm. I wanted to use this cream shade all over my lid, but it was way too white. So I'm just going to use a fluffy brush. This is a Luna Magic brush. I have no idea which set this is. I got it in my BoxyCharm, and I've been really liking these brushes. And I'm just going to actually pack this shade all over my lid and also into my crease so that the transition is going to be a little bit more smooth. Next, I'm going to use a neutral shade from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 palette. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of back and forth between palettes. You really do not have to use the same palettes I'm using. But next, I'm just going to use a very neutral shade. This is a transition shade from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 palette. You really just have to find a eyeshadow that's very neutral and a little bit deeper than your skin tone, just to start and get the shape that you want and also to get a transition going on. So I'm going to start by taking this shade and just creating the overall shape that I want. So I'm going to start and create the line that's going to be underneath. And then I'm going to start and bring this shade into the crease. And also, first time I tried to do this look, my first reflex was to really elongate the shape of this eyeshadow. But when you really look at the shape of her eyeshadow, it's more like short and going upwards rather than going outwards. So you really want to create a line that's a little bit more up than you would do it vertically. And also, you don't want to bring this line too into the inner corners. You really want to stop halfway through. All right, so as you can see, this is a very rough shape. So next, I'm actually going to go back into the Rawbeautykristi palette, and I'm going to go into the shade You're Not My Real Dad, which is the cool toned, a little bit warm brown shade. And I'm going to take that with a very precise brush. This is a Beccacosmetics brush. I have no idea where this brush comes from because I got it, I think this is like my first brush set I ever got in my whole life. So it's been a very long time. I don't know where this comes from, but I know it's Beccacosmetics. With this shade, I'm really going to try and get the shape a little bit more precise. So I'm going to start and just start on the outer corner and drag this shade up. And I'm also going to start and blend this shade on the lash lines because she does have a black liner, and the black liner is really going to help to achieve that doll eye look. And also you'll notice that the intensity of the shade, it's a little bit more intense on this area right here rather than the outer corner, the outer V. So I'm really intensifying this part right here, not too much of this V, and a little bit more on this section right here, the wing section. So pretty, so pretty. Next, I'm going to go back into the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 transition shade, and I'm going to take that with a JH42 brush. So with that transition shade, I'm just going to blend the darker eyeshadow, just so that we have a very blended look, but still it's not really blown out. You really want to keep it very put together. You don't really want this shade to go overboard and be too blown out. It's still a very precise line, but it's very smoked out. And I'm also starting to take this shade a little bit closer to my inner corners, but not too much. All right, so then I'm just going to go back into the cream shade, and I'm just going to intensify the color on the lid a little bit more. I'm using a packing brush. This is a JH41 packing brush, and I'm just making sure that this shape is defined. Next step, I'm just going to take a black liner. This is the Kat Von D Felt Tip Tattoo Liner, and I'm just going to create a very, very tiny wing following the shape that we already created with the eyeshadow. And I'm also going to bring that to the inner corner, but it's going to be very thin on the inner corner, and it's going to get thicker on the outer. Next, I'm going to take actually the black eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 palette. You can take any black shade you have, and I'm going to grab that with the very precise Beccacosmetics brush, and I'm just going to tap over the black liner we created. And this is going to create a smokier look to the liner, because in the pictures it doesn't look like a very sharp liner look. It's more like a smoked out liner moment. So I'm just going to take a little bit of black eyeshadow and tap over this liner just to smoke it out a little bit more. All right, so I think that's good. I'm just going to clean my under eye area because I've got some black fallout. So I'm going to start and work on my complexion, and because we want to look like Ariana Grande, we are going to do a lot of contouring. Because if I want to look like her, I need a lot of this. I already moisturized my skin, so my skin is prepped and hydrated. So I'm just going to start and do a little bit of a contouring action. I'm going to blend that in using my Il Maquillage foundation blending brush. I really love this foundation brush. It's really good. And I'm being very messy with the contouring just because I'm going to clean it up after using some concealer. So I just want to get the overall shape. But today I want to look bronzed. I want to look like a bronzed goddess. And also for this look, I really want to make my face like very lifted. So I'm going to try and like recreate that with contouring. All right, so my contouring is blended in. Everything looks very muddy at the moment, so don't worry, I'm going to clean it up. So for my highlight, I'm going to use the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. This concealer is amazing. It's super lightweight and it's super high coverage. So I've been really enjoying this concealer actually. So I'm just going to conceal my little friends. I'm also going to put a little bit on the high points of my face, and I'm going to blend that in using the same foundation brush. And I'm really going to make sure to bring this concealer to my temples just to really create that lifted effect. And I'm also going to bring some around my cheeks right here just to give the illusion of like a rounder, fuller cheek. All right, so my complexion is looking really nice. I really like it. Next, I think I'm just going to do a little bit of blush and a little bit more bronzing, maybe powder bronzing, because she has a very bronzed skin. I'm actually going to go into the I'm going to go into the House Laboratories Heat Spell Bronzer and Highlight Duo. I'm going to take the shade Savannah, and I'm going to take that shade with a Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm really just going to bronze my skin up very much. I really want to look sun-kissed and very intense. So I'm going to go into the House Laboratories Head Rush Blush and Highlight Duo, and I'm going to go into the shade called Bouquet. I'm just using a duo fiber brush just so that it dilutes the blush a little bit and it's not going to be too intense. Tapping off the excess because I just want a very little bit of color, a little flush of color, nothing too crazy. Looking good, looking very good. Next, her brows are not really super filled in, but for my look, I think I want to do very bold brows. I'm a very bold brows type of gal, so I'm going to do my brows like usual, and I'm going to use the Yves Rocher brow pencil in the shade Blond. And I'm just going to give my brows a little bit of shape. And I'm also going to do my little trick with hair paste. So I'm going to take a little bit of hair paste, I'm going to put it on the back of my hand, and I'm going to run my spoolie into the paste. And I'm really going to fluff my hairs up, but not as much as I do usually. Next, I'm just going to apply some highlight. It doesn't really look like she's wearing a lot of highlight. It looks very subtle, so I'm not going to do something too crazy for my highlight. So I'm going to use my yeah, I think I'm going to do the Becca Champagne Pop highlight. This highlight is probably very expired. If you apply this highlight very lightly, it's going to be very natural on the skin. So I'm really just going to apply a little bit just because I really want to intensify that very bronzed, sun-kissed look. So I feel like this gold highlight will be very pretty on the skin for this look. So next, I'm going to finish my eye makeup. It doesn't look like she's wearing a lot under her eye. I'm just going to smoke a little bit of my transition shade, my Jaclyn Hill transition shade under my eye, just to give a little bit more definition to my lower lash line. So I'm just going to take that transition shade and smoke it under my eye, and I'm also going to connect it to the upper part. And that's all for the under eye eyeshadow. Next, very important, I'm going to use a like white cream liner, and I'm going to put that in my waterline. And this is really going to help create the illusion of having bigger eyes. So I'm going to run that in my waterline. Next, I'm just going to apply a little bit of mascara on my upper and lower lashes. And I'm going to make sure to apply a lot of mascara on my lower lashes because it looks like she has a lot. Alright, so next I'm just going to apply my lashes. I'm going to use a lash that's very elongated at the end just to really intensify that very elongated doll eye look. And these are the ABH So Hollywood lashes. So I'm just going to apply them really quickly. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the eyes. And for the outer corners of my lashes, I did apply them not really following the natural curve of my eye. I applied them a little bit higher just to intensify the very opened, wide eye shape. And for my lips, she is wearing something a little bit more pink nude. So I'm going to line my lips using the llamasqua coloring pencil in the shade Undressed. So I'm just going to line really quickly using this. And of course, there was going to be some overlining today. And then I'm just going to apply some gloss. I'm using the House Laboratories gloss in the shade Venus. And I'm just going to top it off using this really quickly. Alright everyone, so this is the finished look, and let me say I'm obsessed. It's super simple, it's very elegant and classy. It's a little bit more difficult to do than I planned because you really have to get the perfect shape. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope this was useful for you. If you enjoyed today's video and if you liked the look, you can leave a like. You can also subscribe to my channel. Oh my god, I knew this would happen. So on all of my palettes, I had scissors, I had all of my thing, and I just dunked everything on the ground. Oh my god, I almost stabbed myself in the leg with the scissors. Whew! That's very, very dangerous. Alright everyone, so this is the finished look. I really hope this tutorial was useful for you. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. You can also subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos every single Mondays, so subscribe so that you don't miss any of the makeup Mondays. And that's it, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.